بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this episode of Stories from the Sunnah here on Huda TV. My dear brothers and sisters, today we're going to reflect on the story of the Shahida in her house. The Shahida, the martyr, who will become a martyr in her own home. This is the story of Waraqa bint Nawfal and the Sunan of Abi Dawood rahimahullah ta'ala. This story, the story of Waraqa, is a beautiful story and one full of benefits that we're going inshallah ta'ala to reflect on today. Waraqa came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the time of the Battle of Badr, and she wanted to go with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the companions. Here's a woman who wants to go out to fight, battle. She's not going to fight herself. She said, perhaps I will be able to help you out by nursing the patients. When people are wounded, she's going to go out to be a medic or to be a nurse. And she said, if possible, but look at the niyyah, subhanAllah. You see the Sahaba, she has a double niyyah here, double intention. First of all, she wants to go out and get the ajr and the reward for what? Helping out, nursing the patients. But look at the other part of the niyyah. She said, radiyallahu anha, she said, perhaps, if possible, Allah will bestow the shahada, the martyrdom. I'll become a martyr as well. I'm going to go get the reward and ajr for helping out, for nursing the patients, for the wounded. At the same time, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless me with the shahada. Look at the concern of the Sahaba. Look how they used to think. Looking for the ajr, how can I serve this deen? At the same time, how can I die for this deen and get the ajr of being a shaheed? Subhanallah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said something amazing to her. He said alayhi salatu wasalam, stay in your home, and Allah the Almighty will bestow the shahada, the martyrdom, upon you, and you will become a martyr in your home. Thus, as the narrator said, she became known as the Shahida, as the martyr. They called her the martyr. This was her nickname after that. Waraqa became known as the Shahida. Why? Because all of them believed the fact that the Prophet ﷺ said something, that it's going to happen, it's going to happen. They didn't have doubt, maybe it will happen. We'll give it a try, maybe it's going to happen. No, they knew. The Prophet ﷺ said it's going to happen, it's going to happen. They said that she read the Quran and she sought the permission of the Prophet ﷺ to have a mu'adhin in her house, so she gave her permission to do so. She announced to the people that her slave and her slave girl, that they would be freed after her death. Being in a hurry, these two slaves, they wanted to get rid of her quickly. They came one night with a sheet of cloth and they strangled her until she died, radiyallahu anhu. And then they ran away. This happened during the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu. Umar announced the next day to the people when they found the Shahida, who had died as a shaheed in her house. He said, anyone who has knowledge about them, meaning the two slaves who had killed her and ran away, that they should bring them to us. After they were arrested and brought back to Umar, Umar ordered that they be crucified. Because as we know in Islam, if you kill somebody, you get killed. No slap on the wrist, no little jail time. You're going to die if you kill somebody in Islam. Unless there's some other things that can happen. We'll mention that inshallah in a bit. He ordered that they be crucified. And they were crucified, and they were the first crucifixion that happened in Medina. What do we gain and what do we benefit from this amazing story? First of all, how the companions would strive to serve this deen, wanting to get as much ajr and much reward as possible. Here's a woman who, from her nature, doesn't want to be on a battlefield. This all throughout history. They can bring a few now and try to show us how they're changing women, how women are changing. But in the reality, even in the Western countries, if you find one or two women who are soldiers, they're usually not on the front line. They might go out in a Humvee and be on that, but usually always on the front line in all cases. All throughout history, even today, it's always the men. The men are on the battlefield. You have the women who are nurses and what have you. This is how it is. And this is the nature of each one of us. Nobody can argue this fact. So here, this woman wants to go out and wants to go to a battle. And we're talking about the first major battle. It wasn't known. And after Badr, you'll see that the Sahaba, they were much less. 313, 300 and whatever, different narrations, around that, the 300 and some change. And the mushrik, and they didn't have their full military gear with them, didn't have their full weapons, because they were going out just to get the caravan and get some of their money back and to get revenge for what Quraysh had done to them when they were in Mecca, to get what was rightfully theirs. So they came out with just the basic things. But here Quraysh comes to fight them 1,000 deep, full military gear, full weapons, ready to go. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the Muslims victorious. Look at the numbers. Look at the gear and the weapons that they have. But yet the Muslims were victorious. We know from the Quran, Allah sent down angels to assist the Muslims and gave them this great victory. After that victory, then you might have a little bit of what? Of yaqeen, certainty that, the Muslims, mashallah. But this was the first real battle. Nobody really knew it. And inshallah is going to support us, yes, but it's the first battle. The results weren't in yet. But here she wants to go. She wants to go right away to support the Muslims and to serve the deen. On top of that, she has two niyas. I want to get the ajr from serving the deen, and maybe I'll be lucky. Maybe they'll come and kill me, and I'll get the ajr. She wants to die for the deen. She wants to be a martyr for the deen. And subhanAllah, this shows us of how the Muslim must be, to strive to do as much khair as he can to serve the deen. Because we're Muslims, we're the slaves, and look at the beauty. Slavery is a horrible thing, something looked down upon. And that's why Islam came and gave so many options to the people to free the slaves. It's one of the great deeds that you can do, freeing a slave. Slavery is not something looked at in a positive light in any society. But yet us as Muslims, we're proud. We're proud to be slaves because that's what we are. Alhamdulillah, my name is Abd al-Rahim, the slave or the servant of Ar-Rahim, the most merciful subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, and I'm proud of that. As Muslims, we're happy to be slaves, to be servants of our Creator. And that's a reminder to us of how much we need to serve and strive for this deen. Here's this sahabiya, a woman who wants to go out and do, at the time of difficulty, war. This is not easy. She wants to be there serving the ummah, helping out the Muslim soldiers who are wounded, take care of them. And perhaps as well, she said, I'll be lucky. I'll be blessed to get that shahada as well. So I can be a martyr. I can be a shaheed in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Amazing. Also from the things that we benefit from this story is how the Sahaba looked at the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and looked at the teachings that came in the Quran and Sunnah, is that they believed it right away. Not like us today. A lot of us might think, oh yeah, we think it's true, it's going to happen, but maybe we'll try it. Maybe we believe, but the belief system that they had was amazing. There was no doubt whatsoever. Alhamdulillah, you can't have doubt. That's very important. I want to point this out. I saw something recently where somebody who once in his life he was a great scholar, and subhanAllah, this is a great reminder, my dear brothers and sisters, for all of us, about the importance of constantly asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us firm on the haqq, to make us firm on the deen. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as Salama, his wife radiallahu anha, said the most dua that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make was Allahumma Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. O Allah, the controller of the hearts, make my heart firm upon your religion. SubhanAllah, we saw recently somebody who was very dear to us, who was a great scholar at one time of this religion, how he did certain things and changed certain things to please the people, to be able to gain more followers. Did a few things that were haram here, a few things that were haram there, changed some of his stances, changed some of his opinions. Wallahi, we saw a video that really made us, want to really, really break down in tears. Because we know from the shurut, the conditions of La ilaha illallah, the only way for our shahada to be accepted if certain conditions and shurut are met. And from them is the yaqeen, and nafi lil-shak. The yaqeen, which takes away any type of doubt or certainty. There can't be any type of doubt in your iman. It has to be pure, 100%, that we believe in La ilaha illallah. We have no doubt about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have no doubt about the creation, that we have no doubt about that this religion is the religion of haqq, religion of truth. We have yaqeen, certainty, 110%, not just 100%. This is what it means to be a true believer. We believe, this is the Sahaba. She was known as what in the story? As the shaheed. She was known as the martyr. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ told her, go back to your house. And in your house, Allah will bless you with shahada. So she stayed in her house the whole time. And she knew that someday, sooner or later, that she's going to die in her house as a shaheed. This is the yaqeen, the certainty. This scholar of Islam, who we all know, subhanAllah, he was in an event with a non-Muslim scholar of a different religion, and he said to him, don't you have any doubt? As a Muslim, as a scholar who is specialized in theology and truly knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as he should be known, with his beautiful names and attributes, and having that fill our hearts with iman and yaqeen and certainty, what should our answer be? Our answer should definitely be no. Obviously we have no doubts. But this scholar who went away from the straight path, who started to mix between haqq and batil, haqq and falsehood, who started to do things to please the people, going against the Quran and Sunnah, what was his answer? What was his response? I'm going to share it with you. Unfortunately, we have to take a short break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back, inshallah ta'ala.
Just know Allah won't let you lose your way. You are, won't let you lose your way. You are the mercy for mankind.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to this episode of Stories from the Sunnah here on Huda TV. Before the break, we were talking about the story of one of the amazing scholars, and I have to be honest with you, amazing, during the time that we live in. Somebody who was very dear to us at one time, who started to mix with the haqq that he was blessed with to follow and to teach for so many years, start to mix with it different forms of falsehood, where he wanted to please the people. He wanted people to come closer to him. He wanted to gain more followers. He wanted to have a bigger audience. Until one time he was asked at this event by another scholar from another religion, don't you have doubt sometimes? And we know that for our shahada to be accepted, to be correct, we have to have yaqeen, certainty with no doubt in it. And this scholar responded to him, yes. Even myself, I have doubt sometimes. Nasallahu al-afiyah wa-salam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep our hearts firm. Here, I didn't know what to say. How somebody could have been in such a high status and to go that low, where even he has doubt sometimes in his own iman now. Immediately I remembered the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Oh Allah, the controller of the hearts, make my heart firm upon your religion. If this is somebody who I feel has more knowledge than me, has reached higher levels than what I have reached in my knowledge, and has done more for the ummah than I have done for the ummah, if he can get to such a low level where he doubts about his iman, he's gone that low, where he can come and say, yes, I doubt about my own iman sometimes. I doubt about my own Islam, my religion sometimes. What about me? What about you? And that's why Salama radiallahu anha, she said the most dua that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to make was, Allahumma ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Oh Allah, the control of the hearts, make my heart firm upon your religion. And we see from this story that we're talking about, the story of the shaheed, the shaheeda, the martyr, who's going to die in her house. She knew, she had yaqeen, certainly there wasn't any doubt. The Prophet ﷺ said, you're going to be given the shahada in your house. She knew it was going to happen. And this is the true believer. Whenever we hear anything from Allah or from His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we immediately, automatically know that it is correct. If it's authentic in the Sunnah of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if it's in the Quran, there's no need to doubt. Do you understand it? Do you know why? No. But we know it's truth. Abu Bakr what? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. As-Siddiq. Is that his name? Is that what his father called him? When he was born, he called him Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. That's a nickname. Why was he named that? Because when the Prophet ﷺ did something that was unheard of, something that nobody could believe, which is called an Isra wal Mi'raj, even though there was proofs, he told them what was happening. When he went over the people he flew over them, the ones who were coming back, the caravan, he told them everything that was happening in it. And the people learned later what he was saying was truth. But the disbelievers still denied it. So he went up to the heavens on the night of the Isra and Mi'raj. We know the amazing story. We know the amazing story about when he went up to the heavens, alayhi salatu wassalam. But yet, the disbelievers, when they found an opportunity to slander and to fight Islam through this story, they came to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, before he was known as the Siddiq. They went to him and they said, did you hear what your companion said? You heard what your friend said? He said, no. Because he hadn't met with the Prophet ﷺ yet during that day. He said that he went on the Isra wal Mi'raj, he went up to the heavens. He went to Sham, to Palestine, and went up to the heavens. And they started laughing and saying, making fun of the Prophet ﷺ. He said right away, I haven't heard it from him personally, but if he did say it, then he's truthful. If he did say it, it's true. It wasn't a doubt. He's like, oh my God, how could you say something like that? That's not possible. It's not humanly possible. He's a prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. He's not a normal person. He's not like me and you. Automatically, without even thinking, Abu Bakr replied right away. If he said it, he was truthful. Where did he get the nickname? As-Siddiq. The one who believed. The one who believed it right away. Khalas. This is the believer. We have yaqeen, certainly. The Prophet ﷺ said it, it's authentic. Then we can look wisdom behind it, try to understand it more deeply. That increases our iman. But right away when we hear it, khalas, we know. Many things now we see, the Prophet ﷺ teaches it, about the dirtiness of the dog and the mouth of the dog. When you look, modern science proves what the Prophet ﷺ said. But even if we don't, it's something we should stay away from. He said, stay away from the dogs. Stay away from their saliva. Don't let them lick you. Don't let them lick into the vessels. We without even knowing that if there's different microbes or dirty things in the mouth of a dog, we automatically listen to the Prophet. That's just one example. Anything we hear right away, khalas, we hear and we obey. And we know it's the truth. And this was the way of the Sahaba. From the benefits of this story, we know that there's many different types of shahada. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned from them is the one who drowns, the one who dies from a disease in his stomach. Many different examples. To get the shahada, to be a martyr in Islam, it doesn't necessarily have to be on the battlefield. There's many different ways to receive a shahada, to die in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From them, as we see here, is if somebody also is killed. And there's different types of you can be killed, as the Prophet ﷺ said, defending yourself, defending your honor, defending your money. And you do that and you die as a shaheed. And also like here in this story, when you're killed by somebody who betrays you. If you're betrayed and you're killed like that, also this is a form of shahada. Like it happened in the story of Waraqa radiyallahu anha, and also like it happened in the story of Umar ibn Khattab and Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu anhum, also who were killed in the same way, and they died as shaheeds. How do we know they died as shaheeds? Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said when he stood up on Uhud, on Mount Uhud, he said, and look how this increases you in your iman as a Muslim, subhanAllah. When Mount Uhud started to shake, the Prophet ﷺ, he stomped down on Uhud. He said, Uthbut Uhud, stay firm. He said, because verily upon you is a Nabi, a prophet, and a Siddiq, Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, and 2 shaheeds. He said, stay firm, Uhud, because on top of you is a prophet and a Siddiq and 2 shaheeds. Who were the 2 people who were with Abu Bakr and the Prophet ﷺ? Umar ibn Khattab and Uthman ibn Affan. How did both of them die? As shaheeds. And it's very important that we point out, and we talked about this in one of the early episodes, that we do not come and call somebody a shaheed from ourselves. We hope that somebody reached the shahada, that he died as a shaheed. But the only one who can truly be, even if somebody dies in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't know how they died. But inshallah, we say inshallah, we hope that they died as a shaheed. If somebody drowns, we say, inshallah, he's a shaheed. Inshallah, he's a shaheed. Don't say the shaheed. That's not correct, because the only person who can give that true and knows what's in the heart is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unless these examples, like we mentioned today, the ones who are from the ones the Prophet said that they were shaheed. From the benefits of this story, at the end, when Umar ibn Khattab, when he crucified these people for their hideous crime of a person who has been good to them and treating them well, and even wanted to free them. They were slaves, but she wanted to free them. And they come and they strangle her in her own house and kill her in this hideous way to teach a lesson to the people. They were crucified, and that was the way of being executed. Some people will come and say, why isn't this a harsh way of the... And a lot of non-Muslims ask, why are the crimes, the penalties in Islam so harsh sometimes? If you kill somebody, you're killed, you're executed. If you steal, the hand is cut off. Why are these harsh or not? It depends how you look at it. But what are the benefits? What are the wisdoms behind it? Because Islam comes. Why did Umar crucify these people and let the people see this type of thing? To send a clear message. If you're going to come and kill and take people's lives, this major crime, this major sin, you're going to come and do this, you're going to pay the price. And that's why in Islam, some of the crimes you have in the West, and look at the statistics. If you go back and look tonight, we're running out of time, so I'm not going to mention it. But if you look at some of the statistics, look at rape in the West. Look at the pedophiles, the ones who molest the children in the West. Look at the statistics. It's scary. Even if we have something like this in a Muslim country, it's very small. Why? Look at their penalty and look at our penalty. Oh, you get a few years in prison. Oh, you have to register as a sex offender. In Islam, what's going to happen if you rape somebody? What's going to happen if you molest a child in Islam? You are executed. You're executed. Might go to jail if I get caught. If I get caught here, I'm executed. You think about it. Is it worth it? Is it worth me now coming and risking my life for this? Or should I control my desires? Think about that. Look at the wisdom behind these penalties being harsh, to send a message to the people and to protect the societies. So these forms of evil, these forms of mischief, these crimes do not spread. That's why Islam came and put some of these penalties in this way, to make sure that the society stays safe, that me and you, all of us are safe, because we know we're not going to be robbed. We know we're not going to be killed, because of the fact that the penalty person thinking about the penalty is harsh, therefore he stops and he fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his actions, or at least he fears the outcomes and the consequences. This brings us to an end of this episode. Until next time, Allah knows best. Allahu a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala Nabi Muhammad wa jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.